Hello writers, I'm Sab John Edathattil, professional screenwriter and your personal story coach. In this episode, I am going to talk about the 7 most common mistakes beginner screenwriters make and how to overcome them. Most of the first-time writers do complain that they have an idea but don't really know what to write or how to write. This is mainly because they have to ask and answer this question, why should I write this screenplay first of all time? Why should I write it? And when I can answer myself that is it because that I am going to change this world, or is it because I want to make money, or is it because that I want to tell this world about a moral instruction? All these can be answers, but they should come to know why I should write this screenplay. The second is, there is a systematized process behind writing the screenplay that will help you to know what you have to write. So these 2 points will help cover these mistakes. The second most common mistake I find with inexperienced writers is they avoid the story and go straight writing the scenes. This actually is a great mistake indeed, because without the story it's very difficult to write the scenes at all. There has to be a lot of pre-planning before one has to go into the scene making. This is a process again, and one needs to know how to develop the story and then convert that into a telling format first. The next mistake the first-time writers make is they have a great disregard for critical notes. It means honest criticisms. This is a great tool to revise and rewrite your material to meaningful and professional grade. So we need to accept first what the criticisms are, try to gather it first and then analyze it, and how that can be a great input for your screenplay. This is best to be understood by learning how to rewrite and revise. The next is narratives that won't read well for movies. Most of these first-time writers will have a great understanding of using the software, but when it comes to narrative that has to be converted magically into a viewer's reading and as to assimilate what they have to perform for an actor or a director to perform the imageries of what you have written, it has to be well told to them first, to the reader. For example, the writer writes, he is having an expression that looks like he is going to win the world. How can an actor perform this entirely well and convert it magically for the viewer to comprehend it? So this is very, very crucial. At the same time, overexposing things, underexposing things in the narrative is also a common mistake. Sometimes the writer exposes and writes continually about the physicality of the room or the location. And sometimes he just writes a few words which is insufficient for that narrative. So narrative actually plays a great role irrespective of the software that we are using. The next crucial mistake is about characters. When they write characters, it becomes very peripheral and the characters become weak. So these weak characters will not take the story forward as you may think, as one first-time writer may think will work well. No, it won't. The characters need depth, the character needs layers, the protagonist has to have a great motivation, and they need exemplary or exquisite kind of stake they have to surmount. So these things are essential for the character build. Most of the first-time writers won't go deeper into the characters, but still work on in a very, very horizontal way. Don't go vertically into them. So unless the characters won't prove serious and in-depth, the story will reflect to be very peripheral like the characters themselves. The sixth most common mistake is poor narration of tension. Tension means you need difficulties, and difficulties have to grow. This difficulties growth will be in a very slow graph or it may have more or less a horizontal graph that actually shows upon your story and the telling. So we need to create a kind of depth and movement and progressive growth towards this tension as you tell the story. So basically this is one thing that you need to acquire through certain principles and certain processes which are quite learned over a period of time and then exposed in your writing. And the last of all is writing camera angles, music and credit titles in the screenplay. It is not the responsibility of any screenwriter to write these things because it is a director's prerogative. Screenwriters are not supposed to do it, especially when they write a speculative script. Mostly, the first-time writers, what they do is they start with a close-up shot to dissolve to and to cut to. All these are directorial decisions or an editor's decisions. The basic concept of writing a speculative script is to communicate the emotions, and by doing this, we are cutting short of emotions by exposing more of camera angles and all other jargons in the screenplay. I hope you'll recognize these mistakes and overcome them in your next screenplay and make it a great hit. Please comment, subscribe and like this video. At the same time, I'll see you again in my next